So, the title of this course is Easy Living for Sensitive People. And if you've purchased the program, it's likely that you identify as a highly sensitive person or that you have a general sense that you're more sensitive than the people around you. Or maybe you've been told your whole life that you're too sensitive. Or maybe you're just curious about energy healing. Regardless of what brought you here, I wanted to welcome you again and say you're in the right place. This video will focus on what it means to be a sensitive person. But first, I want to acknowledge that this course is not only for sensitive people. Cultivating a state of energetic wholeness can bring ease, peace, and miracles into anyone's life, regardless of whether or not they identify as a sensitive person. And it's not overly important that we put a label on ourselves as being highly sensitive. This course and energetic wholeness in general is all about life as we experience it. And this course will help you to tap into the power of your energy so that you can enhance or change those experiences. So, while this program will focus on the common patterns and experiences that we see energetically for highly sensitive people, really all of the solutions, techniques, and tools that we present are available and useful for anyone. So, what does it mean to be a highly sensitive person? Let's dig into that question now.
So, what does it mean to be a highly sensitive person or to be someone who experiences sensory processing sensitivity? Well, this is Dr. Elaine Aron, and she was the one who coined the term highly sensitive person in the 1990s. And since then, she has done decades of research around what it means to be a highly sensitive person, both biologically in our bodies, but also through our life experiences. Dr. Aaron is also the one who brought the term highly sensitive person to the forefront in our culture. And this is really important because it acknowledged that some people do have heightened nervous systems or nervous systems that are more aware and brains that process information a little bit differently and a little bit more deeply. She is using the term highly sensitive person to describe sensory processing sensitivity, which is the medical term for it. Now, the other thing that Dr. Elaine Aron is bringing to us after her decades of research is also a set of skills and tools that we can learn to walk more easily through our lives at highly sensitive people. And what we're learning in this program about using our life force energy is really something we can do to really boost the skills and tools that Dr. Elaine has figured out. We're going to take a look in this short video, just an overview of what she has found through her research and experience working with highly sensitive people. So let's see what she found out. So, one of the things that came out of her research is that being highly sensitive or sensory processing sensitivity is a proven trait. And what I mean by the word trait is that it is a genetically determined characteristic. So, we're born with it. And it certainly is not something that we should try to fix. It is estimated that 1 in 5 people are highly sensitive. And that's important because it means there is nothing wrong with us, and we're not alone in our journeys through life as sensitive beings. Now, what's really neat is that it is theorized that this trait of being highly sensitive is actually linked to a survival strategy where we collect information by being more aware before we act. So, our ancestors likely leveraged this gift of being more aware of subtle information in order to survive. And in fact, biologists have found this trait exists in over 100 different species, from fruit flies to primates, dogs, cats. This is a innate biological way that our nervous systems and brains work a little differently to be more aware of subtle information and to also process that information in a deeper way. It's pretty cool, huh? Okay, so unfortunately, being a highly sensitive person is not always a valued trait in many cultures, especially where things are so fast paced and where success is defined as being the fastest or the strongest or maybe the most aggressive without a focus on deeper awareness and deeper processing. So, in reality, there are some definite challenges to being an HSP, but there are also some incredible gifts as well. So, this easy living program that we're using now to use our life force energy, what it does is it aims to lessen the impact of the challenges of being highly sensitive and really help you leverage the gifts of being highly sensitive. So, let's take a look at some of the challenges of being highly sensitive. So, because we are continuously observing and processing everything around us, we naturally get overstimulated and fatigued because there's so much happening in the background with our nervous system and our brains. Also, because of this, we can be easily overwhelmed by noises, bright lights, smells, tactile sensations like our clothes on our skin, and also motion around us. We can also be overwhelmed by things that are happening on the energetic level as well. We're going to talk more about that in this program. Also, because we tend to have a little bit of a higher level of emotional intelligence and we are more aware of what other people are experiencing and feeling, we tend to just take on the emotions of others as if they were our own. And we often act on our impulse to help others, which can also be draining. We can have a hard time in crowds or around people with a very strong or negative energy. Again, it's because we're taking in and processing so much information in the background. And we may need some time to go sit in a very quiet space or a dark space and be by ourselves in order to recover. We can also have deeper experiences just watching TV or reading books, as if we are experiencing what the characters are experiencing through ourselves instead of just observing. And another common experience of being a highly sensitive person, and this is something that I experience myself, is that our medical needs are a little bit different. So our bodies tend to behave a little bit differently in terms of how we react to medications, how sensitive we are to allergens. And a lot of times, the classic tried and true treatments that they teach in medical school don't always work as intended for us because our nervous systems, biologically, we function just a little bit differently. In my experience, if I had a nickel for every time a doctor said, well, that doesn't happen, or well, that shouldn't happen, or no, no, our bodies don't work that way, I would be rich because they said this despite the blatant evidence sitting right in front of them, which is myself. I've gotten to the point where I have conversations with my doctors about maybe it's because I'm highly sensitive. One doctor actually just put Kristen is a medical anomaly in my chart because my body reacts so differently than what is expected in the medical field. I did find a doctor who specializes in working with highly sensitive people. So, the other great thing I wanted to tell you is that there are doctors out there who are educated and can help to treat you, or maybe just that slight 1 degree shift in how they approach you with their diagnoses and with their treatment suggestions. So, I would encourage you to either have conversations with your doctor or go ahead and just Google some. There are sites out there that will give you a directory of doctors. There are sites out there that will give you scripts on what you can say when you're speaking to your doctor. So I invite you to check that out. The other thing that's really common, and this comes out of Dr. Elaine's research, is that HSPs tend to be really thrown off balance when we have a lot to do in a short amount of time, and that we tend to design our lives around avoiding situations like this or avoiding scenarios, excuse me, where we have a lot of overwhelm or where there's a lot of people. So, those are the challenges that highly sensitive people struggle with on a daily basis. But now let's talk about the gifts of being highly sensitive. So, you can see how sort of having this heightened sense of awareness and this deeper processing can bring challenges into our life. And these challenges are actually why I created this program, because I experienced that we can use our energy again to diminish and sometimes even remove these challenges from our lives, and also to really leverage our gifts. So, the flip side of being overstimulated by lots of intense stimuli is that we also have the ability to experience things more deeply. We experience tastes and smells and tactile stimulations. We can really sense the finer details from our five traditional senses. Again, we also have greater awareness on the emotional intelligence of what is happening with other people. And that can lead us to be better nurturers, better caregivers. We also tend to have a deeper, richer, more creative inner world. And when we really tap into this heightened awareness, we can have enhanced creativity and also just enhanced connections to things that are happening around us. For this program, we're going to explore how being highly sensitive can also make you more aware of the energy world. So in this program, we are going to learn how to use our life force energy to live more easily as a sensitive person. But I did want to say that it's not going to completely replace self-care. So we do have heightened nervous systems and a little bit different brain activity, and that means that self-care is even more important for highly sensitive people. So if you aren't doing these things already, I would actually suggest that you explore ways to enhance your self-care in partnership or in collaboration with all of the energy work that we're going to do in this program. So, Dr. Aaron again has a whole list of self care things that are really important for highly sensitive people. They include taking that time and space to refresh yourself. So, it means going and sitting in a quiet place, sometimes a dark place. Sometimes it means you just need to go be alone. For highly sensitive people, hydration and nutrition and sleep are especially important. Obviously, important for everybody, but in this case, because biologically our bodies tend to really rev and process, and we have a lot going on in the background, hydration, nutrition, and sleep are something that we really need again to kind of refresh us and keep us at our best and our fullest. And also, from an emotional and a mental standpoint, part of self care is coming to terms inside with you that it's okay to say no. It's okay to skip the party. It's okay to tell your kids, I need to go sit and be alone for a while. It has nothing to do with you. I love you. I say this to my kids all the time. I love you. It's nothing that you did. I need to just go be by myself for a little while. And, your family and your friends and your community will certainly get used to that and hopefully support you. So that's being highly sensitive in a nutshell. And we are going to use this data. We're going to launch off of this idea that highly sensitive people exist in this program for easy living for sensitive people.
I hope that information sheds some light on what it means to be a highly sensitive person. If you're curious as to whether or not you are a highly sensitive person, Dr. Elaine Aaron does have a quiz on her website that you can take. The website address is hsperson.com. As we continue on with this program, we are going to tap into the sensitivity that we have towards our own energy so that we can say goodbye to the challenges of being sensitive and welcome in the gifts of our sensitivity.